I'm going to tell you something now that's going to help you for the rest of your life. You're going to spend, I want you guys to listen to, just in case you didn't know this. I feel like everybody does, but this is some like Sandman, Neil Gaiman level knowledge. Hello to all my friends out there in YouTube land. It is your good buddy, Philtastic Phil here. And I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. We are trying to do another one of these parking lot videos. I tried to do one recently, just last week. Did not work out too well. Was it last week or before? It really doesn't matter, does it? Yeah, it didn't work out too well. The little guy wasn't having it, but he's quieter today. It's a little bit earlier in the morning. You might see his little arm moving around in the background or so. That's perfectly fine. So screw it. Here we are. We are in a parking lot while we are waiting for my wife. Heat is on. Don't worry about that, as they say in the song. I can't remember who sang that, but I'm just babbling at this moment. Anyway, I figured I'd take this opportunity today. Really, pal? I figured I'd take this opportunity today to expand on my 200 subscriber contest. That is now live-ish, what do we say? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to get a time machine, whether you build it yourself or buy one from someone, and go back to like 2 weeks ago, he's smiling at least, when I talked about this a little bit. Or you could just really, go back and maybe I'll put in a link or a card or something so you know which video to go back to, or maybe something at the end. I don't know. It's too early to think about stuff like that. Way too early. Both literally, I was going to say figuratively, but it's also literally. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted because I guess the person who is parked next to us is also walking to their car. So they're looking at you. It's just kind of that weird little moment in time. See, you could see them walking behind me now. All right, good day to you, ma'am. Okay. So as I said, we're going to talk about the 200 subscriber video as I babble on. Just a quick recap. You can earn many different points to win a significant amount of comics, why don't we say. I should note that the comics I'm putting up for my giveaway, and that I'll be putting up for my giveaway every month, you're not be getting some necessarily top grade stuff. I mean, these are things in my collection that are either doubled up or in some cases tripled up. Maybe some things I won that I just don't care for. Right, pal? I'm not giving anything you want away. Okay. But I'll say this too. I'm also going to give away opportunities for things like original art. Or, if you're lucky, there is a slab in there. I'll be honest with you, a slab is not anything key. Honestly, I went to Shortbox and it was like, okay, what can I afford that's kind of cool if you could appreciate it? So, don't be thinking you're getting like, a $20 or $30 book in there. No, you're helping me clear out the basement, basically. Like if I were a little bit more clever, or maybe put more thought into this kind of stuff, maybe I would have some sort of a clever title for the giveaway, like help Phil clean up his collection type of thing, which you could see our ongoing journal, by the way, in the Love and Comics video stuff. I will put a playlist for that one in the back. That one I know for sure. But I digress. So part of the challenge, I said I will give you, I think I set a point. It could be more. I have to look at it myself. If you create a video telling me about some of your favorite non-comic YouTube channels. So I figure, why would I ask you that if I'm not going to share my non-comic YouTube channels I like to watch with you? I'm trying to think if that made sense what I just said. Okay, I'm going to assume it did. If not, you can figure it out. It's early. There's no coffee. There's no water. We're in a parking lot. It's cold. The music is off. We don't need to get a copyright strike out of this stuff. But the first one I'm going to talk to you about is Michael Franzese. You may recognize the name if you are a fan of the film Goodfellas, like I am. I would be a great point in the video right now for me to put in a clip from the bar scene where he's kind of quickly introducing you to the guys in the mob, and you see that one guy, Mikey Franzese, and he's like, I took care of that thing for you. It'd be a great place in the video to put that clip, but I'm afraid that Warner Brothers will put a copyright strike on it, and that means that they take your lunch money and all kind of weird things. So we don't need to go through that. I understand Zaslav needs to eat too, but come on, pal. Really, for a clip? Anyway, he is an actual person, Michael Franzese. He's a Michael Franzese. Sorry, they changed his name a little bit for the movie. He is a former gangster who, when he's actually pretty notable in the Colombo crime family for running a scam in the late 70s up until the early 80s involving gasoline. It was kind of complicated. He's tried to explain it before. Maybe I just don't have that kind of mind for it. That did land him in jail. While in jail, he basically renounced his criminal ways, found God, and now he, so many years later, he has this YouTube channel where he talks about not only what it was like to live in the mob, but he'll compare it to different things like different mob television shows and movies to say, hey, how accurate is this as far as how, how things are actually done, I guess, from his perspective. He'll do a little bit of commentary on some historical mafia things or items from the news. For example, a couple weeks ago, a mafia crime boss in Italy who was on the run for 30 years just got caught working a pizza parlor. He did a little kind of series on that, and it's just always a different, interesting perspective. From what I understand, he also does kind of more motivational things that you can apply towards things like business and whatnot. I haven't seen a whole lot of those videos. Nonetheless, interesting channel. It's really interesting, by the way, too, to just kind of see what mafia films, or mafia-related films, I should say, are more fictional than not. For example, one I guess I'll spoil for you because it's a long movie anyway, and it's not the best in my opinion. The Irishman, which presented itself as a pretty historically true film, really is not factual. More kind of larger details are more fictionalized than one would anticipate. Anyway, again, that's Michael Franzese, and I should say that I'm going to go ahead and put a link to all of the videos I'm going to discuss today in the comments. So if you want to check these out, go ahead and do so. Took a little break here just to, let the throat rest. Interesting little observation I made. So I'm about maybe 10 to 20 feet in front of this medical plaza or building. There was a guy that was parked 2 spaces to my right, and I noticed when he parked in and he was waiting with his buddy, he lit a cigarette, then walked that 20 feet, finished the entire cigarette in the span of 4 minutes, and was done as he's going into the medical building. Like, look, if you want to smoke, that's on you, fine, whatever. That's your prerogative, I should say. I'm not a smoker. I don't know, I've never seen somebody smoke going into a doctor's office. I feel like maybe the cigarette is kind of why you're there, but I digress. I'm going to talk to you about my number 2 pick, or my second pick for non-comic book related YouTube channels I'm going to share with you today. If you're a fan of music from the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, maybe a little bit of the 2000s, even if you're not a fan, if you just have an appreciation for some of this stuff, you need to check out Adam Reeder, the Professor of Rock. Wow. I have never, ever, and there's people walking to my left and right, so it's a little weird. Okay. I don't know. I always get a little weirded out when people do that. Anyway, even if you're a fan of music in general and want to learn something new, this is the guy to go to. I have never watched him. I have, every time, I'm getting tongue-tied, of course. Every time I've watched his channel, I've never left a video without either getting a better appreciation for a particular artist or a song, or even just learning something new. It's kind of like, if you are around my age, you may have remember VH1 used to have those behind the music TV shows, which were great. Imagine taking a behind the music and maybe condensing it into anywhere between 10 minutes to 20 minutes. Always interesting, always great, and always entertaining. I highly, highly, highly recommend you check out the Professor of Rock. And tell me, if you do, in the comments, which episode is your favorite, because every single time I turn on his channel, I get a new favorite. I had to pause again for a little bit. The little guy was getting a little scared frustrated because I don't know if you heard in the background, they were taking the dumpster, and I heard made a loud sound. That wasn't thunder, or we're not recording in Jurassic Park or anything. That was just a dumpster, so it scared the little guy a little bit. So I'm just easing him up. He's getting a little antsy. Buddy, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a good lesson for you to learn right now. We're waiting for Mom. We can't leave without Mom. Let's agree. You can't do that. That wouldn't be nice. And we love our mom. Well, your mom, you know what I mean. I'm going to tell you something now that's going to help you for the rest of your life. You're going to spend, I want you guys to listen to, just in case you didn't know this. I feel like everybody does, but this is some like Sandman, Neil Gaiman level knowledge. But you're going to spend a significant portion of your life waiting for a woman or a lady to do something, whether it be in an appointment or get ready or just stuff in general. And you know what? That's okay. So let me tell you something. I see that you're getting a little frustrated and antsy and you want to move on, but here's a little bit of a life lesson. That's not going to help speed things up. In fact, that's just going to make things worse. So my advice to you, just sit back and relax. You're a little tired. I understand. It's early in the morning. Take a nap. And as soon as Mommy's done, she'll be out here and we'll be on our way home. And then you could, just enjoy the day. See that? So you just came to hear me talk about YouTube channels and babble about stuff that don't matter, but I gave you a little bit of knowledge. How many YouTube channels do you know that impart that on you? I can tell you right now. I think Reggie does that, and I think Bueller does that. I don't think Comic Tom does that. I don't think Gem Mint does that from what I've seen. Look, I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying, you came for one thing. I gave you a little bit more. You're welcome. Free of charge. Anyway, the third non-comic book related YouTube channel I'm going to highlight in this video. And let me tell you something. There are a lot of other YouTube channels outside of the realm of comics that we watch. Maybe we'll do a follow-up. Maybe I'll ask my wife what her favorite channels are. But anyway, my third pick for today is Ordinary Adventures. Such a fun channel. Times maybe a little bit frustrating, but fun in general. What these guys do, they basically, Peter and Kitra, boyfriend and girlfriend, team up. They're not married. That's fine. Nobody's judging. And if you are, what are you doing? They basically go to theme parks, technically, I guess you could say, around the world, and they just record and they show you, maybe different rides or different experiences. A lot of theme parks now have these limited run type of events, and it's always interesting. They're based out of California, so you mostly see Disneyland, Hollywood Studios, what's that one? Knott's Berry Farm, which I didn't even know existed until I started watching their channel. Which really kind of interesting too is that when they go to these places, they'll also do things like show you the food, not only how much does it cost, but if it's worth it on their 5-point scale. 1 being the worst, 5 being that they absolutely loved it. I'll say this, I think they tend to go light on a lot of the food. For example, recently they went to the new Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Florida, just opened about a month ago, and looks really fun. I can't wait until they open up one in Florida, and then when little guy in the back is old enough to actually remember these things, maybe we'll take a trip one day. Who knows if the whole global banking system doesn't crash by then. Just saying. One thing, yeah, buddy, I know it's okay. Look, the banks they'll do something. Yeah, the government has our backs. I got you. It's all fine. I already bought that. One kind of general rule I live by when I go to theme parks, or really any restaurant outside the New York, New Jersey area, is you don't order pasta. These people, I guess, being from California, don't understand that. That being said, they seem to devour and love the pasta options in Super Mario World. I think there's one that's Bowser's Fireball, supposed to be a very hot kind of spaghetti. And I forgot who else has a spicy spaghetti there, but I don't know. I'm going off the rails a little bit here. Yeah, and they do a lot of the high-end kind of experiences too. So if you wanted to try that, you don't want to necessarily put out the money to, for example, stay on the Star Wars Star Cruiser. I think that's like, yeah, buddy, nobody wants to spend that, right? I want to say it's like $5,000 a night or something like that. It could be wrong. Go ahead and watch his channel and watch their channel rather, and you can see if it's worth it or not. Yeah, again, that's Ordinary Adventures, and again, I'll put links to all of these in the description of the video. So like I said, I want to hear what your favorite, and I just did 3 because I'm babbling, but you could do more, I guess, if you want, just as long as it's interesting. I want to hear what your favorite non-comic book YouTube related channels are. If you are going for our giveaway, the 200 subscriber giveaway, it'll get you a point. And I'm going to tell you this, by the way, too. I'm extending the giveaway to end in late April, just because when I put it out a week or 2 ago, I didn't realize how quickly April was coming up. So yeah, you don't have to rush to do this. End of April is perfectly fine. And also, I did note that you can get extra points by donating to a charity. Having a little difficulty with the charity I had in mind. I asked the person I know who's collecting for this cause. They're putting some information together for me, so stay tuned for that. You didn't miss anything. I just haven't said what the channel preferred charity rather I'd like to donate to is. But bear in mind, as soon as I have that, you will know. And if this one falls through, I do have backups. So with that, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and so on and so forth. Peace, love, and comics. Take care. Just a bit of a PSA as well. If you're waiting for somebody in a car, first of all, and this is actually a little bit more advice for my buddy Shane, White Wolf Mojo, whatever he's going by these days, White Mojo Wolf rather. Bring a bottle with you, because that makes a world of a difference when you have a little baby in here. But honestly, if you're sitting and waiting for people, and look, no judgments here, no judgy-wudgies, whatever you want to call it. I know it's early in the morning. Don't sit in your car with your mouth open like this, because to be honest with you, you look like a fish in the frozen food section of the supermarket. And also, to the woman sitting in the passenger seat next to me, get your foot off the car. Your foot doesn't need to be on the dashboard. That's just mad disrespectful. Look, I'm being honest with you, you're probably not watching this. Nobody's watching this, but if you are, don't do that.